Archangel Michael detected something dark lurking in the house you live in. It's already spreading aggressively. Open this before midnight. This message must reach you before the clock strikes 12. For what has been hidden in your home is no longer hiding. What once crept in shadows has now begun to spread, and Archangel Michael has sounded the alarm in the heavens. Before midnight, the warning must be received. Before the veil of day is drawn, you must know there is something dark, silent, and cunning that has taken residence where peace was once planted. This is not for the world. This is not for the casual listener. This message has been divinely filtered, destined to reach the one who has felt the heaviness in the walls, the shiver in still air, the tension that can't be explained. You are not imagining it. The late-night restlessness, the sudden arguments without cause, the cold chill in your bones even when the temperature holds steady. It is not all in your mind. There is an intruder in your atmosphere, but it wears no face. It carries no sound. Yet its presence is weighty. Michael, the commander of heavenly hosts, detected this dark ripple while moving through the spiritual veil over your home. He saw the shift. He felt the break. And now, he has released this message to you. Not by chance, not by luck, but by divine targeting. If you've been saying, something doesn't feel right, then this is your confirmation. If you've been unable to rest, suddenly sick, anxious without reason, or watched harmony fall into sudden conflict, then know, the spirit realm is active. Your home has become a battleground, and the enemy's tactic is stealth, subtlety, and slow spread. But heaven has intervened. Understand this. This warning is not to frighten you. It is to awaken you. You are not defenseless. You are not being punished. You are being alerted, chosen to rise, and equipped to stand. The darkness is not stronger than you, but it hopes you never realize how strong you are. You must listen in silence. You must feel in stillness. For when the distractions fall quiet, the instructions from heaven become clear. This message is not coincidence. It is a divine interruption. The time is short. The midnight hour is approaching, and the moment of revelation is upon you. Type "I receive this warning" in the comments. Heaven is watching. Lesson code 333 is now in your atmosphere. Before the midnight hour strikes, a decision must be made. Before the veil between natural and supernatural thins in the night, before shadows lengthen and spirits stir, you must understand why this message has come, and why Archangel Michael is now standing at your door. He is not here for ceremony. He is not here for peace. He is here for war. He is the sword bearer, the gatekeeper, the divine warrior who hurls down principalities and silences the whisper of devils. When Michael moves, it is because something unseen has crossed a line. It is because heaven has detected an invasion, and beloved, that invasion is already inside the walls of your house. Not everyone was meant to hear this. Not everyone is stirred in their spirit when heaven speaks. But if your heart is beating faster, if your hands feel the weight of something pressing in, if your breath feels tight even now, then you are not like the rest. You are the one marked, chosen, awakened. Michael saw it, something subtle but aggressive. Something that entered not through doorways, but through arguments, distractions, compromises, and silence. It slithered in when no one was watching. It found cracks in the family, in the foundation, in the routine and began its tread. But now, the angel has sounded the alarm. He stands at the perimeter of your home with his blade drawn. He is not pacing. He is not wondering. He has identified it. He has felt the spiritual contamination moving through the rooms where peace once ruled. He has come not only to expose it, but to command a response from you. Do not ignore this moment. Do not say, "I will deal with it tomorrow." For the spirit realm does not operate by your calendar. The clock of heaven is counting down to midnight, and the call is urgent. Turn off the noise. Mute the distractions. Turn your face toward the Spirit and listen with your soul. Michael does not visit without reason. His sword is not drawn unless the war is real. If your spirit hath been in unrest, it is because his presence hath been stirring it awake. If the room you once prayed in feels empty now, if sudden tension has been rising without clear cause, then hear this. The darkness is not just near, it is inside. And it is not sleeping. But so is the angel. So is the light. So is your help. And now, your choice will determine what takes root next. Fear or faith? Panic or power? Do you understand? This is not a story. This is your battle. Your home. Your spirit. The war has entered your gates, but so has heaven's greatest defender. You must speak nothing yet. Just be still. Just listen. Because what comes next is not for the mind, it is for the spirit to receive, to recognize, and to rise. Heaven is speaking. The angel is watching. The darkness is listening. And time is moving. The window is narrowing, and the night is approaching. Open your heart before midnight, and let the Spirit of the living God rise within you. Type "I am covered" in the comments if your heart bears witness. The blessing code 444 has just been activated over your household. They move in silence. They linger where your eyes cannot follow. And though they are unseen, they are not undetected. Whispers. That's how it starts. A soft tension in the corner of the room. A subtle shift in tone between people who once laughed easily. A word spoken behind closed doors that poisons the atmosphere without explanation. And suddenly, nothing feels safe. The rooms begin to change. The air thickens. The mood in your home shifts without warning. And you feel it. But you can't explain it. You heard them, haven't you? The subtle sounds in the night, when all should be still. The creak of the floorboards. The gentle knock when no one is at the door. The sense that you are being watched, even though no human eye is near. What you are sensing, beloved, is not your imagination. It is a spiritual disturbance. It is the sound of something hiding, but not sleeping. For there are watchers, both physical and spiritual. There are forces that observe, study, and wait for a moment to strike, not with weapons made of metal, but with emotions that twist, conversations that turn sharp, and thoughts that become dark. Betrayal is their language. Division is their weapon. Silence is their cover. And the house is their stage. If you've seen joy vanish without cause, if peace has drained from the walls like water, if arguments erupt from nowhere, and love feels like war, then listen carefully. It is spreading. The darkness does not always arrive with fire and force. It often comes in the quiet, where no one thinks to guard. It attaches to emotion, It rides on stress. It stirs the soul until rest becomes impossible, and hearts begin to fracture. Why now? Because something in you is waking up, and darkness always attacks before the shift. The unseen tries to destabilize what is destined to be elevated. You have been sensing more because your spiritual eyes are opening. The very fact that you're feeling this unrest means your sensitivity is sharpening. But they are hoping you will ignore it. They are hoping you will dismiss it. Don't. Do not ignore the signs. You've noticed the disconnection, haven't you? The strange dreams, the headaches, the fatigue when you enter certain rooms. That one corner of the house where you avoid lingering, the chill that wraps around you when you sit still too long. These are not coincidences. They are clues. Michael has seen it. The watchers that speak slander in the spirit. The shadows that seed bitterness in loved ones. The presence that hovers just beyond your perception, seeking agreement, seeking entry. And some of them came not through the front door but through invited bitterness, unrepented anger, and unchecked words. And now, it is stirring arguments that make no sense, creating conflict where there was peace, drawing loved ones into cycles of confusion, silence, and suspicion. Because the enemy knows, if he can divide your home, he can delay your destiny. But heaven says, enough. You are not mad. You are not weak. You are not making this up. You are awakening. And the stirring you feel is not fear. It is discernment. Your spirit has detected what your eyes have not yet seen. And now, the angelic host is circling your household, scanning every doorway, hovering over every room, identifying where darkness has tried to gain access. But the decision is still yours. Will you confront it in prayer? Will you call it out in the spirit? Will you take back the atmosphere of your own house? Because if you do, heaven will fight for you. And if you remain silent, the shadows will not. You were meant to break this disruption. You were meant to reclaim peace. You were meant to stand between darkness and your family and say, not here. Not anymore. Because this is not just a haunting, it is a hunt for your calling. But the moment you say yes to truth, to spiritual alertness, to heavenly covering, the enemy begins to fall back. Type "I claim back my atmosphere" in the comments if your spirit agrees. Lesson code 555 is igniting the fire of cleansing now. If this message pierced something deep in you, don't scroll past. This is your divine invitation. We're not just speaking into the void. Every message we release is a weapon of light, reaching homes that are under siege. When you give, whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you're not supporting us, you're fueling heaven's voice to reach another trembling soul. Like a sower casting seed in sacred ground, your support multiplies the harvest of deliverance. Isaiah 55:11 is alive in this mission. My word shall not return void. And now, you are a part of it. I feel led to say this. If your spirit is stirred, then your obedience is prophetic. Your gift becomes a sword in someone else's battle. As you bless this mission, may open heavens pour upon your household like rain. Now step into agreement. To seal it. Support the word that just broke something loose in your atmosphere. Give as you're led, and watch the reversal begin. This is not random. This is not a string of bad days. This is not just life happening. You are under spiritual surveillance, and the enemy is afraid of you. That's why he moved in. That's why he's spreading his disturbance through the very place where your destiny is meant to be incubated, your home. Let this truth pierce your spirit. This is war. Not in the physical. Not in what your hands can touch or what your eyes can see. But in the realm where everything begins. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. And now those forces have been drawn to you, not because you're weak, but because you are rising. The enemy knows your name, not because you failed, but because you're marked, because you've begun to stir, because something inside you refuses to settle for comfort over calling. That's why Michael, heaven's defender, has intervened, not to babysit your storm, but to awaken the warrior within you. You are not simply experiencing conflict. You are provoking the darkness by walking closer to the light. You've been called to disrupt generational cycles, to uproot patterns that have lingered in your bloodline, to cleanse the air that others inhaled without resistance. And now that you've been chosen to carry this mantle, the darkness wants to destabilize your ground. It seeks to confuse your mind, to cloud your judgment, to bait you into small battles so you miss the war that really matters. Arguments that go in circles, distractions that appear harmless, emotional tension that makes you question your sanity. This is not coincidence. This is calculated strategy from a defeated enemy that's still trying to pose a threat. But here is what the enemy did not anticipate. Heaven has exposed him. Archangel Michael, sword drawn, has scanned the atmosphere and sounded the trumpet in your spirit. That uneasy feeling you've been carrying. It wasn't fear, it was discernment trying to be heard over the noise. And now that your spirit is awake, the assignment of the enemy begins to unravel. Because what once had access through apathy now finds itself resisted by awareness. Let this be made clear. The presence in your home is not a byproduct of bad energy. It is the residue of a spiritual confrontation. It is because heaven has moved to elevate you, and darkness is trying to pull you back down before you realize it. The attack was strategic. The timing was surgical. But the response will be divine. You are not the victim. You are the vault. Inside of you is a revelation that threatens regions. Inside of you is a spiritual weight that breaks chains. And when you begin to pray, when you begin to discern, when you begin to cleanse your atmosphere with faith, the territory the enemy hoped to claim begins to tremble. Michael did not appear to pat your back. He came to draw the line, to say, this far, and no further. But it is you who must rise. It is you who must open your mouth. It is you who must declare, my house is not a resting place for the enemy. The fight is not against your loved ones. It's not against your spouse, your child, or yourself. It's against the spirit behind the confusion, the whisper behind the division, the darkness behind the chaos. And now, this is your crossroad. If you retreat, the darkness will remain. If you deny it, it will deepen. But if you rise, if you acknowledge the battle and declare yourself aligned with heaven, then the enemy's presence will dissolve like smoke before the breath of God. You are not alone. You've been seen. And heaven is not asking you to fight in your strength. It is asking you to stand in your identity. For the moment you recognize this for what it is, a spiritual battle and not an emotional spiral, victory begins to form in the atmosphere. Declare this now. My fight is not against flesh, but the spirit behind it. I am chosen to stand. I am marked to win. And I declare this house belongs to the Lord. Type I am armored in the comments if your spirit receives it. Blessing code 777 is moving through your home right now. Now hear this. The darkness is no longer waiting. It is spreading. Not slowly. Not quietly. Aggressively. With intention. With momentum. And with eyes set on the very places you once called safe. It is no longer just a weight in the atmosphere. It is becoming a presence in the rooms, in the emotions, in the thoughts, and even in the words spoken between those you love. The clock is ticking, and I say this with all the urgency heaven permits. If you do not confront it, it will escalate. Within the next 72 hours, the pressure will intensify. If unchecked, it will attempt to wrap itself around your peace like a vine, slowly choking joy from every corner. You'll begin to see more than restlessness. You'll see confusion without cause, outbursts of anger, and a strange fog that settles over your ability to think clearly. This is not superstition. This is not fear-mongering. This is a prophetic warning sent in love, because what is hiding in the corners is now starting to claim territory. The battle has shifted. The line has moved. And if you remain passive now, the spiritual breach will deepen. Archangel Michael did not detect a dormant presence. He detected a moving, multiplying, targeted force. It is not after your possessions. It is after your alignment, your focus, your unity. It seeks to fray the edges of your house, so that the Spirit of God that once rested heavily within your walls begins to feel distant. And it always begins this way. Tension replaces laughter. Silence replaces intimacy. Doubt replaces confidence. And one room after another begins to feel foreign, unfamiliar, cold. Yes, cold. The shift in the air you felt is not imagined. When spiritual entities begin to move aggressively in the physical realm, the body responds. Sudden chills. A drop in temperature. A tightness in the chest when you enter certain places. The body becomes the battleground for what the spirit is picking up. You're not crazy. You're under siege. And the darkness has studied you. It knows your distractions. It knows your emotional triggers. It knows exactly how long it takes before you give up the fight. But what it doesn't know is what has been awakened in you now, that heaven has sent forth this word into your hands. And Michael stands not beside a wall, but at the very heart of the house, sword raised, waiting on your agreement. But the longer you delay, the more ground it takes. If you continue to explain away the sudden anger, the passive aggression, the unexplained crying, or the communication breakdown, you will hand over territory that was once holy. Because the atmosphere has memory. It remembers your worship. It remembers your prayers. It remembers the sound of your praise. And now, that atmosphere is waiting for you to reestablish spiritual authority. Hear this clearly. In the next 72 hours, the pressure may rise. There may be a confrontation, a betrayal, a moment that feels like it came out of nowhere. But it is not random. It is engineered to provoke a reaction that opens more doors. That's the plan of the enemy. Provoke and enter. Disrupt and deepen. Confuse and control. But heaven is offering you another path, to recognize it, call it out, and shut it down. This is not a time to argue. This is not a time to blame or react emotionally. This is a time to guard your tongue, anchor your spirit, and speak with divine precision. You don't fight spirits with volume, you fight them with truth, with authority, with the word of God that says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." The air itself is shifting, because your spirit is rising. You have been assigned this battle not to survive it, but to conquer it. The escalation is coming, yes, but so is the glory that follows. And if you stand now, firm and rooted, then what was sent to destroy will be the very force that unlocks your next level. Mark these next 72 hours. Watch your words. Guard your space. Cover your home in prayer. And know that every movement of the enemy has already been seen, and heaven is one step ahead. Type "the next 72 hours are sealed in victory" in the comments if you're ready. Blessing code 1414 is being stamped across your doorposts now. Now that the darkness has been exposed, heaven will not leave you without instruction. Archangel Michael did not only reveal danger, he positions you for dominion. This is not about surviving the night, beloved. This is about taking back what belongs to you. Your home is holy ground, and it must be treated as such. Every hallway, every doorway, every silent corner, they must now become altars of light. They must be reclaimed. And yet, the first act is not noise. The first act is not shouting into the wind. The first act is silence, stillness, obedience. Because heaven fights most fiercely when its chosen remain grounded. And many miss the movement of angels because they are too busy reacting to the distractions planted by darkness. But those who stand still, those who listen with intention, those are the ones who receive divine strategy. The war is not won in noise. It is won in clarity. And clarity only comes when the soul is still enough to hear the Spirit's whisper. Heaven says, return to the secret place. Not just any prayer, but intentional, cleansing, commanding prayer. You must walk your home as one who owns it in the Spirit. You must speak aloud in authority, declaring, this home is a sanctuary. No darkness may dwell here. No shadow may rest here. No evil may hide here. Yes, speak it. You must use your words, because the word carries power. The darkness listens. It waits for silence to grow bold. But when you speak with the authority of the Most High, it trembles. It backs down. It flees. Do not delay this cleansing. Walk your rooms tonight. Speak aloud in faith. Even if your voice shakes. Even if you feel resistance. Even if part of you wonders if it matters, do it anyway. Because this is not about feelings. This is about faith. And faith must lead before feelings follow. Some of you must open your windows and speak into the atmosphere. Others must anoint the door frames. Others must simply sit in silence, worship playing low, letting the presence of God rise until heaviness breaks. Each action, when led by the Spirit, is a strike against every lingering shadow. And hear this clearly. Avoid arguments. In the coming hours, the enemy will provoke. Tensions may rise. Triggers may be pushed. But do not engage. Do not give him your voice. Do not hand him your peace. Guard your tongue like it holds the keys to your breakthrough, because it does. One word spoken in haste can open what took weeks to close. This season requires a sober mind and a sanctified tongue. Say only what heaven would say. Release only what builds, not what breaks. Every word is either seed or sword, and now is the time for swords that cut the cord of confusion and sever the grip of fear. Michael is not only guarding your household, he is stationing angelic warriors at the points of entry. The Spirit is circling you, waiting for alignment. When you pray, they move. When you worship, they strengthen. When you declare, they draw their swords. Do not act like one under attack. Act like one under assignment. The presence in your home may have been dark, but your response will determine what lingers and what leaves. You are not weak. You are not helpless. You are anointed. And the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead now surrounds your household, covering your windows, hovering over your bed, standing in every room where darkness once hoped to hide. Let no fear remain. Let no confusion live. You are not just protecting your peace. You are protecting your purpose. Because what lives in your house shapes what grows in your future. Walk with boldness. Pray with fire. Cleanse with authority. And above all, remain still in spirit, so heaven can roar around you. Type "My home is consecrated" in the comments if you're claiming divine protection. Blessing code 1010 is cleansing your atmosphere now. You are no longer who you were at the start of this message. Something has already shifted, not outside of you, but within. The spirit of fear is breaking. The veil is lifting. The warrior in you is awakening. This was never about just protecting your home. This was about unlocking the authority that has been lying dormant inside of you for too long. The enemy tried to reduce you to survival, but you were made for dominion. And now, heaven is not just covering your house. Heaven is recrowning you. You are not walking through a haunted space. You are walking through holy ground, reclaimed and reconsecrated by the Spirit of the living God. And the one who once trembled at shadows now causes shadows to tremble. Your spirit has matured. Your ears have opened. Your eyes have adjusted to see what others ignore. And that fire you've been feeling rise in your chest, that is not anger. That is not fear. That is divine flame, the anointing awakening, power rekindling, mantle descending. You are putting on spiritual armor, not just for protection, but for activation. This is the turning point, the moment where your identity must shift. No longer victim, no longer passive, no longer bound by silence. You are becoming the atmosphere changer, the gatekeeper, the protector of sacred space. You are not reacting to the enemy is reacting to you. Let it be said clearly, you carry the authority of heaven. The same Spirit that cast down Lucifer, that raised Christ from the grave, that split seas and silenced lions, that Spirit lives within you. The days of questioning your place, doubting your power, shrinking back in the face of chaos, they end now. Heaven has seen your tears, but now it sees your sword. Heaven heard your cries, but now it hears your command. The same room where you once wept in confusion will now echo with decrees of fire. Where confusion ruled, clarity now reigns. Where fear whispered, faith now shouts. You've been covered. Now you've been clothed. Heaven has armored you with discernment, with divine vision, with spiritual sharpness. You do not have to yell to have power. You do not have to explain yourself to be anointed. You simply must walk in it. And when you walk, walk like one who has been crowned in secret. Walk like one who has seen what others haven't. Walk like one who now knows that the attacks were not personal. They were prophetic. They revealed your rank. They exposed your elevation. Because the darkness doesn't waste its energy on someone who isn't a threat. You have become a threat. Let the wings of your calling now stretch. Let the fire that once flickered now blaze. Let the doubt that once clung now burn away. Because from this point forward, you are no longer a bystander in your own story. You are the turning point, the shift in your bloodline, the breaker of chains that others learn to live with. When the enemy looks at your house now, he no longer sees entry. He sees eviction. He sees opposition. He sees the flame. Because the atmosphere has changed, and so have you. You are the remnant, the chosen, the vessel of light in the midst of creeping shadows. And now, as Michael guards and heaven watches, you will not just endure the battle, you will lead the victory. Rise with fire. Rise with focus. Rise with faith. Because the one who was under attack has become the one who now commands the room. Type "I walk in my authority" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing Code 2020 is releasing divine armor over you now. Let this truth settle into your spirit like thunder into the earth. This was never just an attack. It was a revelation in disguise. The shaking you've endured, the fear that hovered over your sleep, the arguments that erupted without cause, they weren't signs of weakness. They were indicators of activation. You have not been cursed. You have not been forgotten. You have not been overlooked. You have been called. And the darkness came because something sacred within you is on the verge of being unlocked. Heaven does not allow battles to rise without purpose. The attacks have been fierce because your assignment is fierce. The spiritual realm responded to the weight of your destiny. And when Archangel Michael stepped into your home, he didn't just detect the darkness. You recognized your greatness. You recognized the pressure being applied because of the power about to be released. You must understand this moment through the eyes of heaven. This storm is not punishment. It's preparation. The turbulence in your home, the mental warfare, the emotional strain, it was a shaking meant to awaken. Heaven saw what was coming and allowed what you could handle, not to break you, but to build you. Because in the spirit realm, pain often comes before promotion. And pressure is heaven's final push before prophetic elevation. Some of you are standing in a trial that didn't come to destroy you. It came to prove you. It came to mark you. And as the darkness spread, he only revealed the areas that still needed reclaiming. God never sends light where there is no purpose. And the reason Michael was dispatched was not because you were failing, but because your atmosphere was about to shift permanently. This is your unlocking. This is the moment when your spiritual eyes open wider, your discernment sharpens, and your voice becomes more aligned with heaven's frequency. The enemy fought hard to keep you distracted and reactive because heaven is positioning you as a vessel of breakthrough, not just for yourself, but for others. There is a mantle resting on your shoulders now, one that can only come from walking through nights of pressure, confusion, and resistance. You've earned scars, yes, but those scars are proof that you were trusted with the weight of warfare. And now, the glory will rest heavier. The authority will speak louder. The Spirit will flow deeper. Because your faith wasn't shaken, it was strengthened. Heaven knows your name. It is written. It is spoken. It is sealed. You are not hidden. You are not background. You are frontline, forged by the battle, confirmed by the fire. And your home, the very place where the darkness thought it could expand, is now a birthing room of revelation. The storm is not the end. It's the signal. The enemy fought because something new is breaking open inside you. Something sacred is rising. And you are going to see it manifest in ways you didn't expect. Restored peace, divine dreams, breakthrough encounters, supernatural clarity. Yes, this was more than survival. This was an announcement in the Spirit. You have arrived at your next season. And with every moment you stood, every time you didn't give in, every whispered prayer in the dark, heaven has recorded it all. You are not just being protected now, you are being positioned. And the blessing that follows this battle will not be temporary. It will be established, generational, and irreversible. The same home where warfare broke out will now become a house of prophetic flow. The same atmosphere that once suffocated you will now release the wind of revelation. The same voice that was once silent will now speak with fire. The season has turned. You are not under it. You are standing over it. And what tried to destroy you has just confirmed that you were born to carry fire. Type "My unlocking has begun" in the comments if you know this battle has broken something open. Blessing code 3030 is now releasing prophetic confirmation. This prophetic unlocking wasn't just for you. It's part of a divine chain reaction. Every video, every message we release is a spark designed to ignite another soul. When you support this mission, whether through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are literally sowing fire into the atmosphere of others. This is more than content. This is spiritual fuel for the chosen. And when you give, you become part of heaven's delivery system, sending breakthrough, clarity, and deliverance into homes like yours. Give, and it shall be given to you isn't a verse, it's a promise. And I feel in my spirit, those who sow into this word will reap clarity, protection, and divine alignment. Don't just receive. Respond. Support the light that supports you. Watch how heaven breathes on your obedience. This is the moment of alignment. This is the moment where your atmosphere meets your assignment, and your posture must now match your position. You've been warned. You've been covered. You've been awakened. But now, you must be activated. The darkness is no longer just lurking, it's retreating. But it will leave empty-handed unless you rise and drive it out with force. This is your moment to claim back the spiritual authority that was always yours. Heaven has waited for your yes. Not a passive yes. Not a yes of hesitation, but a yes of fire. A yes that shakes the spiritual realm and releases angelic movement. Because you were not chosen to just observe spiritual warfare, you were chosen to end it. The battle that touched your home is not just personal. It is generational. It is territorial. And it requires your voice. Not just any voice, the voice filled with heaven's charge. Now, let the fire in your belly rise. Let the sword in your spirit be lifted. You must begin to declare war with your words. Speak with precision. Speak with courage. Speak not as one seeking permission, but as one standing in divine commission. You are not asking the darkness to leave. You are commanding it. Not by your might, not by your power, but by the Spirit of the living God that resides in you now without apology. This is your command. Every dark spirit, every whispering presence, every force of confusion and fear, I evict you now. You have no place. You have no power. This house is covered. This atmosphere is sealed. I align every corner with the will of God. I declare peace. I declare clarity. I declare the fire of heaven over my household, over my family, over my sleep, over my future. Don't just say it once. Say it until the atmosphere breaks. Say it until the pressure lifts. Say it until you feel the charge of divine presence pushing back what once overwhelmed you. Because as you speak, angels respond. As you declare, heaven builds walls of fire around your household. You are activating not just your protection, but your position as a spiritual gatekeeper. You must understand, your words are not suggestions, they are weapons. You are a vessel of divine power, not merely waiting for deliverance, but now releasing it. And with every decree you make, you take back what was lost: joy, sleep, rest, unity, direction. These things belong to you, and the darkness must return them sevenfold. Now is the time to move room to room, not in fear, but in authority. Stand at your front door and declare your home sealed. Stand in your child's room and speak divine protection. Go to the place where arguments broke out and declare the end of confusion. Take your house back in the name of the Most High. It does not belong to chaos. It does not belong to division. It belongs to God, and now your words must echo the truth. But don't stop there. Speak life into your body. Speak strength into your mind. Speak courage into your soul. This is more than a cleansing. This is a crowning. You are stepping into the role you were always meant to carry. No longer bowed down. No longer second-guessing. You are rising as a ruler over your atmosphere, and nothing can stand against the one who knows who they are in God. This is destiny in motion, not layer. Now, the heavens are open. The winds are shifting. The angelic host is waiting for your full agreement. Say yes in your heart. Say yes in your mouth. Say yes in your walk. You are not hoping for peace. You are releasing it. You are not chasing light. You are carrying it. The time is now. Heaven is watching. The darkness is trembling. Type "I activate my dominion" in the comments if you're stepping into your calling. Blessing code 818 is unlocking authority over your space. Even now, while your hands may be at rest and your mouth may be silent, there is a great movement taking place beyond what your eyes can see. In the spirit realm, there is a hush-a-pause of divine tension, because a transaction is happening. A holy exchange. A sacred reversal. Heaven is moving on your behalf. And though the rooms around you may appear still, they are filled with divine activity. Do not mistake quiet for absence. This is not silence, it is strategy. The Spirit of God is hovering, brooding like He did over the waters in the beginning. He is restoring order where the enemy tried to create chaos. He is recovering what was hidden. He is reclaiming what was stolen. And it's happening while you sleep, while your body rests, your spirit remains active, and angels have taken their positions. What darkness once whispered behind your back, heaven is now reversing in your name. There are unseen negotiations happening right now in the throne room of heaven. Where the enemy once stood accusing, now your obedience speaks louder. Where doubt tried to write your narrative, your declarations of truth are now writing it. This is the beauty of the kingdom. God never sleeps, and justice never pauses. Your breakthrough does not need the noise of man, only the obedience of the faithful. And you, beloved, have obeyed. You have aligned. You have stood. In the silence of the night, the Spirit moves like wind. It enters rooms you forgot to pray over. It walks through doors you didn't know were open. It removes residue from arguments you thought had no lasting impact. Heaven is thorough. The angels are not just fighting off darkness. They are restoring spiritual alignment in every part of your home. What the enemy scattered, they are gathering. What was drained, they are refilling. What was corrupted, they are purifying. And while your body rests on the bed, your name is being spoken in the courts of heaven. You are being advocated for, defended by the one who never loses a case. This is the silent exchange, where your weariness is traded for strength, your confusion is traded for clarity, your fear is traded for fire. You may feel nothing in the natural, but something massive is shifting in the supernatural. Let this truth settle deep. Nothing had been lost. Not your peace. Not your calling. Not your authority. It has only been under siege, and now it is being returned. Not in part, but in full. God does not restore in fragments. He restores in overflow. And what's coming back to you will be more powerful than what was taken. This is not just recovery. This is recompense. Every sigh that left your lips in the dark, every tear that soaked your pillow, every moment of confusion when you whispered, "God, what is happening?" None of it went unnoticed. Heaven does not sleep on the cries of the chosen. And now, in the very hour the enemy hoped to finalize his hold, God is reversing the verdict behind the veil. And he is doing it without spectacle, without announcement, without explanation. Because this is what the enemy fears the most, a believer who understands the power of stillness. One who knows that God moves most powerfully in the unseen. One who trusts the Spirit's presence even when no music plays, no voice speaks, and no emotion stirs. You are that believer now. Not just activated, but entrusted. So rest. Not with your guard down, but with your soul anchored. Sleep, not in anxiety, but in authority. Because the angels are not sleeping. The Spirit is not silent. And the light is not fading. It is filling every room you surrendered. The fight is not over, but the balance has shifted. And now, you will wake into a new atmosphere. One shaped not by chaos, but by the hand of heaven. One covered, one reclaimed, one saturated with divine presence. Type "I receive heaven's silent move" in the comments if your spirit discerns the shift. Blessing code 1717 is now being etched into your rest. Now hear the word of the Lord. Justice is already in motion. You may not have seen it yet, but the reversal has begun. What the enemy meant for harm, God is flipping, folding, and forging into elevation. The very darkness that tried to plant itself in your house has now become the very proof that you were chosen. The battle you faced was not a loss. It was a legal entry point for heaven's justice to move on your behalf. The courts of heaven have ruled in your favor. The accusations, the torment, the anxiety, the sudden disconnection, all of it was noted. All of it was weighed. All of it was presented before the throne of God. And now, with the seal of the Almighty, a divine decree has gone out. No more. No more delay. No more spiritual invasion. No more harassment to the chosen. This ends now. And it will not just end. It will reverse. Every curse spoken in darkness is being boomeranged back to its sender. Every spiritual thief who entered in silence is being dragged into the light. Every atmosphere corrupted by confusion is being saturated with clarity. You are not just being delivered from something. You are being established into something new. And the enemy can't stop it. Heaven has already spoken. You will begin to see signs, not because you begged, but because God is righteous. Conversations will shift. Relationships will heal. Peace will return to places where unrest once reigned. Your sleep will be restored. Your thoughts will clear. Doors that were slammed shut will open, not because of your striving, but because of divine favor. This is not the result of a ritual. This is the outcome of spiritual justice. God is not just saving you. He is vindicating you. He is restoring honor where shame tried to dwell. He is returning joy where sorrow made a bed. And He is doing it with such precision, such power, that even those who doubted you will have to admit, this was the hand of God. Because when God moves in justice, He doesn't just fix what was broken, He elevates the one who was bruised. You've been through fire, but the fire did consume you. It consecrated you. You were pressed but not crushed. Struck down but not destroyed. Because there was always an anointing reserved for after the storm. And now, that oil is being poured out. The oil of gladness. The oil of authority. The oil of reversal. And make no mistake, this reversal is not private. It will be seen. It will be felt. It will be talked about. Not for your pride, but for God's glory. He wants the watchers, both in the spirit and in the natural, to witness the turnaround. To see what happens when the chosen one refuses to bow. To observe how quickly heaven moves when faith stands firm. You were a target, yes. But now, you're the testimony. Some of you will see the same people who cursed you turn around and ask for your prayers. Some of you will feel the same wounds that once drained you now fill you. And others will look around and realize, this house isn't haunted anymore, it's hallowed. Because what was dark was forced about what is holy. Not by force of flesh, but by decree of heaven. You didn't just survive. You stood. You spoke. You stayed. And now, everything the enemy meant for evil is being recycled into purpose. You were underestimated, but heaven never missed your value. And now, the reversal won't just repair, it will reward. You're not walking back into what was. You're stepping forward into what was promised. The house is cleansed. The curse is broken. The judgment is sealed. And your name has been cleared in the Spirit. You are free to rise. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if you feel this divine turnaround. Blessing code 909 is now surrounding every word spoken against you. Before this message ends, before this night closes, before the final second before midnight strikes, let the heavens declare this over your life. You are sealed. You are seen. You are protected. What was lurking has been confronted. What was hiding has been cast out. What was attempting to take root has been uprooted and destroyed by the fire of God's justice and the command of the angelic host. You didn't just receive a warning. You received a heavenly intervention. The darkness that crept through the cracks of your home, through conflict, confusion, silence, and fear, has now been exposed and overthrown. And not because of your strength alone, but because heaven sent backup. Archangel Michael was not just sent to visit, he was sent to war on your behalf. And now, his sword has done its work. The air has changed. The atmosphere has shifted. What once pressed against you has now been pushed back. The divine shield is active, and the bloodline of your household has been touched by fire. You're not entering your next season with residue. You're walking in washed, cleansed, covered. We commission. The heaviness has lifted because the Lord of hosts has passed through. You are no longer under spiritual siege. You are under divine protection. The midnight hour did not close in fear. It opened with favor. The doorways in your home are now guarded by angelic forces. The whispers that once taunted you have been silenced. The cycle that once drained you has been broken. There is peace in your atmosphere now. There is light where there was way. And from this moment on, you walk in a new confidence. Not because you heard a message, but because your spirit has been reignited. You've been reminded of who you are: heaven's warrior, earth's intercessor, hell's threat. You are no longer reactive. You are strategic. You are no longer chasing peace. You carry it. You are no longer hoping for protection. You live inside of it. This house is now hallowed. This family is now marked. This season is now sealed in victory. So, I speak this over you. May your nights be undisturbed. May your home be still. May your spirit walk boldly, and may your purpose advance without resistance. What tried to stop you just became the catalyst that ignited you. And the presence that was detected by Archangel Michael, it hath been dealt with. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if this message has confirmed what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 7777 now rests over your doorpost, your pillow, and your destiny. This message didn't just come to warn. It came to awaken destiny. And if your spirit has been stirred, you've just witnessed a divine assignment unfold. A moment where heaven interrupted your scroll to remind you of who you are. Now, as we continue to pour light into homes, hearts, and regions under attack, you have a chance to be part of this fire-spreading mission. Your support isn't just generous, it's prophetic. When you give through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you become a vessel of impact. You're helping these messages reach the exact soul heaven is targeting next. This is seed. This is sacred. This is warfare through generosity. Isaiah 60:1 says, "Rise, shine, for your light has come." When you support, you don't just shine, you cause others to rise. Joseph, seal this moment. Support what's been pouring back into your spirit. And as you do, may heaven mark your gift with supernatural reversal, multiplied peace, and protection that speaks louder than every curse. Amen.